a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
And I was in the palace of the gods. Huge beings swirled around me, changing shape from human to animal to pure energy. On a throne, in the center of the room, sat a muscular African man in rich black robes. He had a handsome face and warm brown eyes. His hands looked strong enough to crush rocks. The other gods celebrated round him. Music played, a sound so powerful that the air burned. At the man's side stood a beautiful woman in white, her belly swollen as if she were a few months pregnant. Her form flickered. At times, she seemed to have multicolored wings. Then she turned in my direction, and I gasped. She had my mother's face.
Welcome to Of the Eldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as our godly parent.
I'm Ray, following the path of Geb.
And I'm Charlie, following the path of Bast. And we finally actually have that in the chapter. Like, it's been said,
it's like
the path of the
coming
god.
up as like a super illegal thing that we shouldn't be doing. Don't worry about that.
It's fine. We're just illegal. Like, we're also gay, you know? We're just...
You know how many times we've said be gay, do crimes on this podcast?
Exactly. We're being gay. We're doing magic crimes.
Yeah. That's the best kind of crime.
Is when you do the magic that people tell you not to do, and then suddenly you have brought your girlfriend back to life with the meat of a red dragon, and it has some consequences to her soul. It's fine. Everything is fine. That was a deep reference to...
That's what you do when you meet an autistic baddie, okay?
True. Absolutely true. This was a reference to Delicious in Dungeon. Brought to you by Charlie.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
It's important to me.
Okay, so chapter?
Yeah! Godly birthday. Was it, in fact, a godly birthday?
Yeah, I'd say that happened in the chapter. I was pretty proud.
Cool. We did it. You know, for once. It happens sometimes. Sometimes the chapter is accurate.
It hits alright. It works. This one works.
For once, we did it. Good job, everybody. Round of applause.
This quietest little golf claps on our podcast. Okay.
Snaps all around.
Oh, that's much better, isn't it? Okay.
My snaps do not make good noise, though, so...
No, they really don't. I don't know why recordings hate them so much.
Well, I mean, I also just don't make, like,
you
very
can't
crisp snap sounds. Like...
Yeah.
My snap is, like, halfway there. Okay.
Snapping weird. Anyways, so chapters. So Sadie, you know that girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Sadie. We like Sadie.
We're back. We're back, baby. Okay. So Sadie, she breaks out of her dorm because she's a delinquent British schoolgirl. What else did you expect her to do?
This is what I imagine her doing, like, all the time at her British school.
It's literally her MO, is breaking out of dorm rooms. Like, come on now. She heads back to the Hall of Ages to check out the pictures without supervision, which is not a terrible idea at all. She was like, rules are bogus. I do what I want.
They didn't tell her why.
They really should tell you why. No, they did. They were like, hey, you'll probably die. And she was like, bet. Okay. She is at the titular god's birthday party. It's for Osiris.
Happy
also,
birthday, Osiris!
Like, a hot guy there who actually sees her. He's far too old for her, and he tells her not to intervene in the proceedings. Set shows up uninvited, as villains do. Very Maleficent of him. He brought a totally normal sleeping box as a party favor, and then Osiris gets in the box and it traps him. We all gasp. This was totally unexpected. Isis escapes the following violent proceedings, and Sadie eventually gets pulled out of the memory, or whatever it is, by Iskandar, who showed up. He explains some lore to us, mostly stuff about the gods taking on hosts, and he totally doesn't drop any heavy hints about his own imminent death, like at all. And then he magics Sadie to sleep to end the chapter.
Listen, if an old person coughs in any form of media, they are going to die by
You're
the
like,
end of it.
Bestie.
They clearly have mysterious illness, you know, and then they're going to proceed to drop dead, you know?
Yeah.
That just happens.
He got
Even
that.
worse if they cough up blood.
He
But,
got that
like...
Victorian conception disease that makes you cough.
Does that mean that every time that I've coughed on this podcast, it means that, like, I should be dead?
It's a death flag, for sure.
How am I still around?
How are you still alive? Like, narratively, like, we're all just waiting, Charlie. I can't
That's
say.
why I'm following the path of Bast. I have 9 lives, bro!
Yeah, you do. This podcast is well known to be cursed. We need to not jinx ourselves.
It's fine. Everything is good. I didn't totally forget we had a recording because I was playing video games.
Because you're playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. What a little
Leave
guy
me alone!
thing of you to
The
do.
expansion has Rapunzel, and I was excited
good.
to see her.
I love her so much. That's my favorite modern one.
Also, it has Jafar. For some reason, he's like the lead-in, and I'm like, sir, what are you doing here? Why?
Yeah, not normally a kind of guy you want around in, like, your nice peaceful valley, is he?
Oh, they have a bunch of villains, and it's just like, it's fine. They're our neighbors, and it's like, they committed atrocities.
Yeah.
Like, Scar's just roaming around, and I'm like, that man killed Mufasa. Why is he here?
That's... You know, don't worry about the weird fascist takeover that he did.
He's constantly trying to do it from you, too. Because you're the ruler of the valley. And he's just like, one day I will be the true ruler of the valley.
And you're like, that's fine?
And you're just like, haha, old guy.
God.
Just like, haha, you're so silly.
He will try to kill you. That guy will attempt to assassinate you.
It's so funny how this game treats everyone. Anyway. You know what they should do? They should add in live action characters. Where's Percy Jackson in Disney Dreamlight Valley? Anyway.
Now you're just gonna make me think about Kingdom Hearts Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh no.
Like, I'm imagining the way that that people are gonna look in Dreamlight Valley.
Ooh, oh yeah. No, that would definitely be cursed. Okay. Do we want to talk about myth stuff? Is that what we're here to do? In case you missed it, we're gonna talk about Set A. You know, the guy we've mentioned him a few times, but I was like, let's wait for, you know, a chapter that really is like delving into some of him. So Set, or also Seth, which just makes him sound like he's a server dude or something. You know Seth, that you know, that guy.
No, I don't know that guy. What guy?
It just sounds like the name of, like, either a skater dude or a surfer bro to me. Seth.
Oh, I thought you said like a server. I was like a butler name? That's not a butler name. I always thought of it as like a cool guy name, like a cool emo guy you would know.
It definitely has like a very certain vibe to it.
It does.
For a name. But I don't know. Potentially that's one of the pronunciations of his name. Also, Sutek, I think. unclear what's going on with that. But
I
the
see.
Greeks called him Seth,
Right.
I guess.
Because there could be any number of vowels in there. If it's just
Yeah.
STEH. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
looking at the lettering descriptions.
It's
Okay.
so many things. The name origin is like so small. It's like we don't know what it means. There's not even any like it could mean this.
Nobody even made stuff up?
They
What's the
didn't even
point?
make stuff up. It's just like this is how it might be pronounced and this is how it might be spelled, but we have no fucking clue. So, thank you. But you know what we do know about him? He is said he is the god of deserts, storms, disorder, violence, and foreigners in, ancient Egyptian religion.
Oh, no wonder he's evil.
Right? Listen, they gave him like the pointy beard, and my brain went to like once again like Jafar or something, like like evil man with the evil beard situation. But they probably meant that, it's like the Egyptian pharaoh beard or something, more likely.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you gave a character an evil beard, they're just gonna be coded as evil. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say about that. So, yeah. Set is actually a very important god. Did you know that one of his roles is to accompany Ra every day on his sunbark? To actually
didn't know that.
repel the forces of chaos. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, he actually had like such a vital role, at least, when Ra was king, maybe. maybe not so much when you get to Osiris and Horus stuff. Maybe he's not as much of a good guy. But okay, this says he's the Lord of the Red Land, aka the desert, and then Horus is the Lord of the Black Land, which is the fertile land.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very cool. He murdered Osiris. We've been talked about that.
We were there.
We were in fact there. Hey, his parents are still Geb and Nut. His siblings are still Osiris, Isis, Nephthys, and Horus.
Except for when they're not.
Except for when Horus is his nephew instead. I believe the four of them are always still siblings in mythology, at least. Horus is either the fifth sibling or Osiris and Isis's kid. And then his wife is Nephthys, or I guess Neith, or Anat, or Astarte? Which, what? Okay. Do you know who Astarte is?
Mm-mm.
One, she's not Egyptian necessarily.
Oh.
And she's also like the precursor for Aphrodite, basically. She's like the origins of Aphrodite. So, Set and Aphrodite are getting it on. And then his kids are Anubis, Wawet, Sobek, and then it just says, and Maga. We have no page for Maga, and you know what I'm imagining.
Yeah. The word MAGA has been ruined in America, unfortunately.
Hey, listen, he's the Red Lord. He gave birth to the Red Hat.
No.
And this says his Greek equivalent is Typhon.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on with he's trying to usurp the throne from like the next person, just like Typhon is trying to take it from Zeus. Like it's the
parallels.
I mean, it's a parallel, but it's not like Divine Right of Kings. What's the my brain is not coming up with a thing, but like there's literally like a word for this type of myth that they both kind of fall under, where it's like Zeus took over for Kronos and Kronos took over for his father, and then Typhon is supposed to be the one who like tries to take over for Zeus but then fails, and then Set's doing like the same thing over here.
Yeah,
but it's like the rulership shit, and my brain is not coming up with the words. Okay. And also Typhon is like a storm guy. So that also makes sense. Because Set is a storm guy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool? Cool.
Cool.
Alright. So his head, we don't know what it is.
It's the Set animal.
It is, in fact, the Set animal because we do not know what animal his animal head is. Otherwise, he looks like basically all the other male gods. Like, he's got the Wa scepter, which is like a symbol of power, and then the Ankh in his hand, and then his head is just like an animal that could, is got the tall ears like a bunny, but then it's got the long face like a fucking horse or something. There's so many different options. It could be an aardvark, an African wild dog, a donkey, a hyena, a jackal, a pig, an antelope, a giraffe, or a fennec fox, or like so many other things. Oh my god, at one point he's depicted with a flamingo head. I love that, actually. Amazing for him.
Looking at the hieroglyphs that it has off to the side here, it has one with the Set animal determinative to write out Sutek. It looks like a dog to me, the little guy. The way that he sit. But
yeah, but it is distinctly different from like the jackal-headed gods. Apparently, which is why they didn't just be like, oh, it's just a jackal.
Another jackal. Yeah.
But it
I might believe
does
hyena.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Their face isn't very long, the hyena, as opposed to jackals and dogs. I don't know.
That's why it's interesting.
But like a donkey doesn't really sit like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, not important.
Yeah.
Well, you wanna fennec fox makes some sense.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah. They got them big ol' ears.
Well, you want to talk about the conflict between Horus and Set? Yeah?
Well, again?
Yeah, always. Just always talking about how they just, like, kept having it out. Like, there's just, like, a contest between them. Like, there's so many different, like, stories about how they tried to see who would be the better king. Where Osiris was dead, and no one could determine who was supposed to be given the throne, basically.
Just constant beef.
And it's like, dude, you killed your brother. I feel like you shouldn't be able to get the throne.
Yeah.
I think that should take you out of the divine right of kings, Goodbye. You don't get a chance. But instead, it's like, oh, maybe he could go to his brother. Maybe he could go to his kid. Unclear. But, so, let's see. There's, I love how it's like, the divine struggle involves many episodes. They literally, like, compete. They race in boats. They fight each other in the form of hippos. It's just...
That's some goofy-ass contests. I'm sorry.
I feel like this could be a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like...
just, like, play up the family squabble aspect of it.
Like, why is there a tournament arc in the middle of Egyptian mythology? Is this not what it is? It's just a fucking tournament arc, like anime.
Except there's only 2 guys in it.
Yeah, it's true. It's just 2 guys, but still, they're, locked in combat for so many years. And then there's a very specific one that I really hate talking about.
Oh no.
Yeah. So, I mean, trigger warnings for all the things, but we talk about mythology here, so what do you expect? Set literally rapes Horus.
Oh my god. It for real just says sexual abuse on the Wikipedia page. What the fuck?
It also says stuff about homosexual desire? Yeah. Yay. This is the
gay-coded Disney villain.
It's true. He literally is the gay-coded Disney villain. Let's be honest here. So, it's not great. Set apparently does ask to have sex with Horus.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, but you have to give me some of your strength in order to do so. And okay, apparently the Egyptians believed. This is gonna just hurt me to talk about this entire book. But semen is like poison?
Yeah.
They believed semen was poison.
Why? Huh?
What does that mean for pregnancy?
I don't know.
Like, is it just in the gay sense that it's poison? Or this just says...
Maybe I don't want to look it up. I'm sure that there's an answer.
I don't know how to look that up and not have a terrible search history. There's, according to some
So the
text,
semen makes Horus sick.
It literally makes him sick because his semen is poison.
Everybody's semen is poison. Semen is a very powerful and dangerous substance.
Yeah. And I guess Horus gives birth to a golden disc because of this.
Oh, okay.
Which I guess means that he's king?
Oh,
maybe?
No.
No, Thoth takes... Why?
Okay. So
confused. There's reasons why I don't like to look at this shit.
Yeah. Isis puts Horus's semen on lettuce leaves and Set eats them. And then Set is the one who has the semen appear on his forehead as a golden disc because he's been impregnated with his rival's seed. I'm just saying this verbatim because Set becomes pregnant. There's no way to summarize that. Yeah, so Set gives birth to a golden disc, which means that he's failed because he got semen inside of him. And you can't do that, that's gay.
Yeah. I'm still confused. Okay, so it's not necessarily... Is it rape? Because they did ask for consent. It is specified in there.
Okay, so doing something that someone doesn't want during sex is also an act of sexual violation. And so
it's definitely abuse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean...
I'm not going to say it's not
I would
bad.
need to know more to make a call. Like what exactly did Horus agree to, and what exactly did Set do? Yeah, Set asked Wikipedia
for
is not giving us enough information.
Set asked if they could do the thing, and then both of them did some underhanded things that the other did not want to have done. Therefore, I guess they both abused each other. So, badness all around.
Making someone eat your semen without consent is not a cool thing to do, generally. You can't do that.
So,
yeah.
There was consent,
also,
there was
Horus,
not consent.
steals Set's testicles later.
Yeah, that's the other part that I remembered happening.
Then Set takes Horus's eyes?
Yes.
Or eye. That's very funny that they traded a ball for a ball. Sphere for sphere.
Oh my goodness. How dare you? Okay. So sometimes it's both of Horus's eyes, sometimes it's one, whatever. We talked about the Eye of Horus. Set's mutilation, it says, signifies a loss of virility and strength, but the removal of Horus's eye is more important. Because of his roles as a sky deity or whatever. Oh, okay, yeah, it's because of like the darkening of the moon and eclipses. Okay.
His eye is like a whole thing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Specifically, like, the Eye of Horus, whatever, is like the moon or whatever. And then I assume that means the Eye of Ra would be like the sun. So, there you go. Yeah, they're just... I guess they're both kind of mean to each other. So, not great. Either way, at some point, someone actually asks Osiris who he wants to be king.
Oh.
Somebody actually
would have done that earlier, given that he's... Yeah.
And he's like, obviously fucking my son. Like, my son is who should be the one to be king, not the guy who killed me.
My non-Egyptologist theory is that originally they would have all been siblings, and then this whole thing between Set and Horus comes up, and then someone's like, what if Horus is his child, because that would make him more legitimate as an heir? That just like makes sense.
I mean, like, that's not a bad theory, but I think it's more that it was just different stories from different versions or different places in Egypt. Because you have, like, Horus the Elder is usually the one. Oh my goodness, I didn't really want to get into Horus necessarily, but like, there's like different myths associated with the different Horuses, and then they kind of combined into like this whole thing. Horus the Elder is like literally older, I think, in the religion, because Horus has always been a major deity.
Right.
And then Horus the Younger is like this, you know, child king or whatever, who has like the stuff going on with Set and everything. We'll get into Horus eventually. It's not important right now. What was important to me was talk about the origin of Disney villains. Because, you know what? Gilgamesh gave us the origin of everything but Disney villains. So
we needed this.
We needed this from Egypt. Thank you. Gay-coded villains have always existed in history. Apparently.
Which is not an ideal thing to know about the world.
No, it's really not. I don't want to really claim this man. Like, I like the versions of him before we knew he was gay, you know, where he's, you know, protecting the king, and that's fine. I go for that. You can have chaos magic and also protect the king. You don't have to do all this weird shit and be actually evil.
Start creeping on your nephew. Not cool, man.
No, not cool. So, to transition so hard out of that, because that was not fun for me.
I kind of had a pretty good time with that. Okay, so
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Let's talk about a godly birthday party, sorry.
Okay, so Sadie trying to sleep, she can't. She's like, it kind of sucks in here. There's a bunch of little girls. They're all weirdly obedient. Not me, the delinquent British schoolgirl.
Yeah, we're also separated by gender, so Carter's in a different dorm. And yeah, like I said, this is just how I picture Sadie is on a regular basis when she's not dealing with the magic stuff. She's just like, well, I don't want to be here. Gonna cause trouble, get up late, and, you know, do whatever shit.
Yeah, it's what she do.
She's literally making fun of the children for obeying. Listen, Sadie, they are in a cult. It's okay.
I mean, they definitely are, yeah.
Like, the House of Life is literally a cult. I think we can safely say that.
They certainly are controlling enough.
And, okay, I love this, like, little thing about Sadie that she remembered what Zia did with, like, the broom closet before. She remembered the, like, word that she said, so she could do the unlocking spell.
She's good at that.
She's just like, okay, this is an important thing. I'm gonna hold on to that in my brain for later, because I'm gonna need to do that. So, she sneaks out, and yeah, she's talking about how she's been a delinquent before, and all of that.
We get a whole very long paragraph here where Sadie's telling us about her hardships. You know, she's lived in the one place all her life, but she never fit in. There's a lot here about, you know, how she's always been stuck with the same people, and she couldn't answer the normal questions. She couldn't tell people about her parents. She couldn't, you know, just be a regular British schoolgirl because she's from America, she's mixed race, her parents are gone. And it's like a whole thing her whole life. And that if people are gonna treat her like she's weird, she's gonna just be weird in the first place. I feel like this is very enlightening. Like, that specific thing for like Sadie's whole deal. It's so good.
She's like, you think I'm not like other girls? Okay, fine. I will not be like other girls. I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every so often I just remember that, again, Sadie's only been British for half of her life. The other half,
Yeah.
she was American. And technically she was never a British citizen, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. Her ass got deported.
Yeah. So that's why she was like, oh, I have to keep the combat boots with my outfit. Oh, I have to keep the red streaks in my hair. Like, you know, I gotta be the rebel. I gotta make sure everyone knows it.
Because why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I do, like, sympathize with Carter more, but it's not like Sadie doesn't have problems. Like, it's so very obvious that, like, all of this has had this huge effect on her. And you don't compare traumas, and that's what both Carter and Sadie are doing. You know, you just support other people through the shit that they go through because everybody goes through shit.
Yeah. I guess
I see why she thinks Carter has it, like, good or whatever, but I feel like she's having a failure of empathy a little bit.
in a way you could be like, he's the one who was taught to mask from a young age, whereas she did the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or it's just a different form of masking, I guess.
That is true too, yes.
Because like, I mean, she's hiding like the certain parts of her that she doesn't want people to ask, but she's also like being wild and crazy.
Yeah, everybody's got a front. Everybody has a persona. And both Carter and Sadie have very strong personas that they stick to because it's something that they've either cultivated or were taught to have. Yeah, you're totally right about that. That's very interesting.
I like it. I love doing this, just, you know, like actually getting into the deep stuff
Mhm.
there of the story.
And I really like the way that Rick, you know, compares and contrasts these two characters. I think that they are very cool foils for each other. I've always really liked the way that they're written
Yeah,
as
very
siblings and
good.
everything.
So, and then I love how, like, she gets in trouble, and the headmaster's like, I'll have to call your parents, young lady. She's like, good luck.
Yeah. That's also a very good and snappy line and very revealing to what her character is. You know, that's so good. That's great writing from Rick on that one.
Ugh, good sass. So, Sadie's like, well, I'm gonna go back to that hall where they thought I might die or something. I don't know. It seems cool. I wanted to look at it before, but they didn't let me.
We know for a fact that Sadie doesn't take rules seriously because she thinks they're all bullshit. And so she explicitly tells us, like, they told me that this would, like, melt my brain or whatever, but I do not believe them. Like, because people are always trying to keep shit from you. And yeah, breaking the rules has never bit me in the ass before, so why would it today?
Hey, this is an important bit of information that she, like, learned, you know? She
Mm-hmm.
learned some shit by doing this. So sometimes breaking the rules does get you the information, you know, instead of, sorry to say it, being a Carter who's just like, I'm just gonna follow the rules and do as I'm told and
Okay,
learn the
you
things.
know she was wrong on this one though, right? Like,
True, but she
like, if an old man had not shown up, she'd be dead.
Listen, my brain is going back to like a Steven Universe episode I watched recently, where what did Steven do? He did something that he was not supposed to, but he did learn new information. It did make
Mhm.
things worse, but he still learned information that he would not have learned if he had listened to the gems otherwise. So,
True. You could just look this one up, though.
no one is telling her shit, though. That's the problem. They won't talk about the
Mhm, mhm.
gods until you do stupid shit like this. So, because Lord Salamander, as she calls him, is not here, there's no glowing hieroglyphs, and because no one else is here. There's no balls of fire, I guess. I also love that I'm trying to remember how we pronounce it. Desjardins is called Monsieur Evil because beautiful, amazing. I wouldn't call him anything else, personally. Monsieur Evil is his new name. Alright, we're looking at the Ages of the Gods. She just, like, full-on touches it, and then she is inside of it. Like, it is all around her. She is there. And there's there's Osiris on the throne, and there's pregnant Isis right next to him. And oh my god, Isis has her mom's face. Ain't that weird?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Yeah. And then there's this like weird guy, 16-year-old boy who it's Nico. It's just Nico. There's no better way to describe what this person looks like other than, like, it's Nico, but a couple years older.
Rick was like, oh, y'all liked that? Okay. Have another one?
Have another boy with, like, a long, tousled, dark hair and pale skin.
Why are you pale? You live in Africa.
God. Oh my god, you can't just ask someone from Africa why they're white. Maybe he's South African. Which is not better.
No. Oh god. We could make an albino joke, but he's got black hair, so...
Yeah, exactly. We didn't really do it there. Maybe he's just mixed race like Sadie is, and he's passing.
Not to be...
But he wouldn't be pale.
Not to pull the, like, historical accuracy in race card. But actually, I think they should all be African.
True. No, you're probably right. Okay. If any of the gods here were mixed race, it's because for some reason they were a blend of an Egyptian god and a Greek god. But I don't think we've met any of those. I'm pretty sure everyone here is pure Egyptian gods. They should all probably be black. And not pale.
I think that this story is older than, like, the Greek Empire. Like,
exactly. Yeah, so, Nico, why are you here? Also, why is Sadie like, marry me?
Girl, he's too old for you. She's 12? She's 12, correct?
She is 12, and I guess he's 16.
16? Sadie baby. Please.
You're a child, Sadie. Go find someone else who's, like, 13.
You're a middle schooler, honey.
Yeah. No high school boys.
She can think high school boys are cute, I guess. But...
Also, maybe a god? Unclear. There's a lot of gods in this room. So...
Yeah.
This is literally the age of the gods. Mm-hmm. Probably out of your age range, honey. Mm-hmm. But he also literally dissolves into shadow. So it's canonically Nico, I think, at this point.
Everybody just wants a cute goth boy. And, it'd be like that.
Listen, when I learned that people used to ship themselves with Nico, I was like, the horror that, like, escaped from me when I, like, saw fan arts of that. And I'm like, my son? My child? People were attracted to the little guy that I wanted to take home with me and put in bed.
These were middle schooler books, man. Everybody wanted an emo heartthrob. Sorry.
I was in middle school too, but I was just like, no, he's too young.
Fascinating.
He was like 10 when we met him, okay? That was too young when you were like 12 or 13. Okay. Also, I guess he asked me if she's a ghost. He asked her if she's a ghost. She's like, and he's like, oh, I guess you're a ba. Okay. Do not interfere. You can watch. Just don't do anything. And I mean, she
which
doesn't.
makes me
So
wonder, like, how present she is. They call this a memory, but, like,
time
I'd
travel.
like to know what it is exactly,
Time travel.
and if the rest of them would be able to see her, or if it's just this one guy. I have questions, but
Time
regardless.
travel.
Yeah.
Again, why does this fucking hallway exist? I mean, there's so many unanswered questions about this magic system just based on this hallway for me.
It's symbolic, man. Don't worry about it. It's a
very
symbolic
cool and
magic
symbolic.
system. This is
But the fact that you can go inside of it and someone's like, don't interfere, means that you could do something. Does that mean that it's time travel? I can't stop.
okay. So in my brain, the Hall of Ages has to exist and it has to get longer because it is both a symbol and it is like time itself. Sort of like the Fates threads, how it symbolizes your life, but it also is your life. You know what I mean? That's how I'm thinking of this hallway.
Yeah. It's just, it's a lot going
But
on.
I don't think that it's straight up time travel, though. I don't know, man.
Unclear. We haven't established the rules yet. Okay, so, yeah, Osiris is like, hey, it's my birthday. My son is gonna be born soon. Cool.
Yay!
And then Set walks in, and you're right, it's very Maleficent.
Mhm.
Like, he comes in, he's like, oh, I wasn't invited! But hey, I have a gift for you anyway, okay?
Because I'm just a stand-up guy.
Because I just wanted to celebrate my brother's birthday.
I just want
And
to
you
make
know
up with
I
my
bring the
family.
party. I bring the party with me. And the party comes in the form of a box.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to get in the box? Get the box. Get in the box.
We're combining Maleficent and Eris with the apple thing. You know, conceptually, this story feels like it has lineage with both of those.
I mean, okay, I was literally, like, in my brain trying to figure out what could be, like, the origins of, like, that stuff for Sleeping Beauty, and I was like, oh my god, is, like, one of the earliest things maybe, like, Eris and the apple? But I'm gonna have to look closer into, like, this specific myth, too, to see if, like, how much Rick is, like, you know, pulling some shit, like, for his retelling here. Which, I love whenever he does a retelling. Like, like, this is what he's doing these series for, is to be like, hey, modern audience, I'm gonna tell you a story from old-timey stuff and make it in words you can understand. And also, there's some modern kids running around that are your age.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I love it.
And, you know, adding a little bit of emotion to the tale that, you know, a modern person can relate to. Like, you know, getting a little descriptive, and yeah, it's fun. It very much puts you in the scene.
Yeah. But it'd be very interesting if this could be, like, part of some Sleeping Beauty origin shit. Very cool. Like, literally, he's like, this is a sleeping casket? Cool. For the one and only god who fits within perfectly. Wahaha. Wahaha.
Sadie immediately recognizes the box. It's the same box that her dad got put in at the museum. Not ideal.
It's almost like Set doesn't think outside the box.
Yeah. So Sadie is experiencing dramatic irony, like, currently, because she's like, I know that thing's fucking bad news, and everybody's just out here acting like it's normal.
It's good, because she's had this myth replayed for her before, but this is when it started. This is the origins of that shit. And so everybody tries it on. That's some Cinderella shit right there.
How many stories can we fit in this story?
How many stories? How many are the origin? And they're like, oh, we're too short, we're too tall, can't even change our shapes to fit in. And because, you know, they're gods, they can do whatever they want. And it's like, okay, Osiris has to try it. And he's just, like, in awe of this thing. He's like, it's a beautiful box. I love it.
And Set
my
told
brother
a bunch of
would
lies
never
about it and how it will make you so cool.
Yeah, my brother would never pull a prank on me like this, right? He's
We're
my
doing a
bestie,
fun
my
party
brother.
game. Isis
Yeah.
is like, baby, do not get in box. And he's like, babe, party game. My cool brother. Yeah.
That's because
Unfortunate.
Isis knows some shit, okay?
Isis knows the set and that he's a bastard.
Well, I was gonna say, Isis is like one of the smartest goddesses. Like, probably the smartest in the pantheon. Next to like Thoth and like the actual gods of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I'm offended. Oh, you know? So he fits in the box. Yay! And then the lid materializes, and then he can't get out. And
Yeah.
sad.
Who could have seen this coming?
Even Nico comes back, and he tries to help out, but don't work. So, we have a. Oh, I forgot to mention, Sed came in with wolfmen, apparently. Don't know where they came from. Maybe those are supposed to be, like, the set animal-headed people or something? I don't know.
He just has some guys.
Unnamed henchmen, you could say.
Goons, if you will.
Goons. I love a good goon.
People don't like it when you use that word anymore.
Why?
Not my fault that they changed the meaning of the word goon.
Does it mean something else?
Oh, yeah, there's it's a sex word now. I'm sorry that you had to learn it this way.
What does it mean? I'm so sad now. That was like, listen, again, like going into like gay Disney villain era, like that's just one of like the, the good words.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. We're all disappointed. You're only allowed to refer to goons in the Batman fandom now because there's no better word for all the guys who work in Gotham.
I'm so upset. I might still just call them goons because I'm a heathen. So I don't know the new meaning of the word, so I'm just gonna pretend that it doesn't exist. So Set does some weird magic shit. There's a boiling cauldron. He pours its contents over the coffin, sealing it shut. Like it's superheated. I assume Osiris is fully dead at that point, because he just burned him and he sealed him
he
in a
is
box.
A god. I don't know. Gods can still be alive through a lot of shit.
Unclear.
He's in a boiling box. It seems bad.
He's in a boiling box. He also literally, like, takes away Isis's voice, I guess. Rude? Can't believe. Silencing women. Also, this is the origin. And then we have another goddess, Set's wife. I don't know.
Chapter. We said her name earlier on Wikipedia, but
it's it's the one that someone usually forgets the name of anyway. So like, I feel like that's just the theme of the book is like, oh, we're gonna just forget that name because it's fine. Yeah, so I guess she sides with Isis instead. Is not
right. She helps her escape,
side,
which is pretty cool of her. Solidarity.
Women helping women. We love it. And Isis is in the form of a bird. And now Sadie's in the form of a bird, and they're flying desperately, and Isis is telling her things.
She becomes Isis, which is very dream logic, you know?
Yeah, I know. Don't you just love when you're watching the dream, and then suddenly it's you in the middle? Usually happens the opposite way for me, actually.
For me, I think it does happen the opposite way, where I'm doing something and then it was a video game, and then I'm holding a controller and playing the thing. I don't know, maybe that goes either way, or it can become a video game, or suddenly I'm in the video game. But specifically only like that. I don't know.
Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know, man.
I'm not even a gamer, man.
Dreams are weird.
Games are weird. Bizarre.
Yeah, and now she is, Iskander is over her, and he's like, you were almost dead, and she passes out. So
Yeah.
he saved
Thanks,
her.
who speaks perfect English, by the way.
Yeah. Although, listen, I fucking love him just for the fact that she's like, wait, you speak English? He's like, who's to say you weren't speaking Greek? And like, one, reference to his other series, and also, hilarious old man, I love you. I wish nothing would happen to you, but you coughed. So, guess that's not great.
He's very chill throughout this whole conversation. I do love old man.
You gotta love a grandpa figure. Okay? Listen.
Yeah. So he confirms that he is exactly as old as we thought he was, as in thousands of years.
Oof.
2,000. It's a lot.
I wonder if he knows Jesus.
No, they could have run into each other.
They're like the same age.
Yeah. And so she's like, "You're immortal," and then he laughs and it turns into a cough. And yeah. And you're like, "Oh, buddy, sorry."
It's literally me when you make me laugh on the podcast, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm sick and I'm dying." And I'm like, "Do I edit this out because it's a cough, but it's also a laugh?" Anyway.
Yeah.
So he's not
being
immortal.
literally so obvious about it. He says verbatim, "Hardly immortal, my dear. In fact, ... But never mind that. Yeah, never mind all that. Never mind the fact that I'm literally dying right now, maybe?
Don't worry about it, hon. Don't worry about it. It's not important to the story right now. We got other shit to deal with." And so I guess she really wants to know what the heck is going on in this vision. Like he wants to know. She's explaining exactly what happened, except she's not talking about Nico. Nico was not there.
I can't believe you're just gonna call him Nico.
We don't know who he is.
The good-looking boy, like the narration.
We don't know that he's not Nico. We don't know that he is Nico, but he looks like him. Therefore, we have to give him a name for now. Nico coded. So
he is literally Nico coded. That's
listen,
accurate.
He was even wearing black. Okay, like he was goth even in Egyptian times. What's up with that?
Yeah, Iskandar confirms the whole story.
You know, we talked about it.
Was called the Avenger because of all that stuff, which is very funny.
The first Avenger, you might say. Captain Egypt, the first Avenger.
And then he says that the gods have done that a bunch of times. They have cyclical patterns of behavior. Yeah. Which makes sense for our mortals. You know, you just have the same beef over and over.
Yeah, it especially makes sense for, like, because gods, like, and immortals in general, it's like, you're not really ever you don't really
they don't
changing.
Change easy. Yeah.
And especially with, like, the Egyptian symbolism of, like, constant cyclical things happening. Always replaying the old things.
Oh, okay. So hosts.
Yeah, we gotta talk about hosts.
So Sadie's like, so if they can't, be on Earth without hosts, they need human hosts. And he's like, it doesn't have to be a human, could be a statue, an amulet, a monument, certain models of cars.
Only certain
that line.
Models. Which models?
So good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Wait. Oh god, my brain just thought of things. What models of cars? Only the models that are used by Transformers, obviously. Because when the gods use a car as their host, then they become Transformers.
Okay.
You're
I was
welcome.
gonna go off on like the deification of cars and like modern society and like
Oh,
the
okay.
way that like humans like treat them as idols, the way that they become characters in certain things, like Dean Winchester and his Impala, Crowley Good Omens and his Bentley. Yeah.
That's the one
I
thing
feel
I know
like an
from
Impala and a
Supernatural.
Bentley can both be possessed by a god.
The one thing I know of Supernatural is that the car went to heaven at the end.
Unlike
I
the angel.
I have questions. Why did the No, I think I swear I read somewhere that eventually Castiel made it to heaven. But like
You just don't see
first,
him, I don't think.
yeah.
I did not watch the
You do not see him
finale of
after
Supernatural.
Super Hell or something. So but the car just immediately goes to heaven because the car has a
Yeah.
soul and can do that.
Don't worry about it, it's fine.
I am so confused by Supernatural as a concept.
He loved that car more than his angel boyfriend, and that's all you need to know.
So rude. You know what? His angel boyfriend needed to have a host as well to exist on this plane. He should have taken the car.
Been the car.
It could have been the car. And then it would have been just like Revolutionary Girl Utena.
I'm so glad we got to that point. I'm so glad that came around to that. Very, very good. Okay, continuing.
Just drive your significant other as a car. Okay, so the gods prefer human form, which because humans have creativity and the power to change history instead of just repeating it and all this yada 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 yada. Very cool. Very interesting. Humans think outside the cup? No, the box. Literally, we already made this joke. Set doesn't think outside the box. Thank you.
Idioms.
So I love this. The combination of human creativity and godly power can be quite formidable.
Indeed.
Sounds like it to me. Also, like, I love how Rick used this whole thing of, like, the hosts to explain, like, the different versions of the myths as well. Like,
yes.
10 out of 10.
Yes. Like, mythologically, it's a bit of a weird explanation, but in this universe, I love it so much. That this specifically also caught my imagination a lot as a kid, where you're like, yeah, they're immortal beings who don't have human sensibilities. It makes a ton of sense that like they just take hosts who are maybe in a family and, you know, it doesn't really matter to them what those relationships are. Yeah, it's super cool as an explanation.
Yeah. And, like, I feel like, I don't remember if we've talked about this yet necessarily, but, like, we mentioned how gods have hosts and all of that stuff, and how, like, Rick probably took that specifically from how the Egyptians referred to, like, you know, like the king or whatever as, like, an embodiment of that god on the earthly plane or what have you. But,
The
like,
eye
so
of
many
whoever.
so many different stories about Egyptian mythology, like, that are, like, modern stories, also do, like, hosts and avatars and such.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool that that's, like, just a reoccurring thing.
Right, that it's been kind of enshrined in the modern understanding of
Because we haven't used that
these
in
characters.
many other pantheons. I mean, obviously it's important in, like, Hinduism, but it's not in, like, Greek mythology. It's not in, like, Norse stuff, but it's very ingrained in Egyptian. Anyway,
Yeah, I love it.
so this is when they're talking about the paths of the gods. You could study the path of Horus, Isis, or Sekhmet and learn to channel or any number of gods. That's very cool though. Like, would you be the overachiever and have multiple paths, actually?
So it's really interesting because it seems like you can, you know, either kind of channel a god like you might as a D&D warlock or whatever, or you can become like a permanent host, and that those are like kind of different ideas even though it's just variations on the same thing.
Oh, so are we warlocks?
We'll get into that later. We'll
Also,
make an episode.
I thought channeling was different. It was a different class in D&D.
Clerics? Mm.
I don't know. That's honestly, I feel like the big question here is how they work. Is it cleric or is it warlock?
I don't know enough about how warlocks work because neither of them seem quite like possession to me, but
I mean, this
maybe
is
there's
true.
something else that's more appropriate.
Yeah.
But yeah, where were we?
We're just talking about the magic system. Also, the ultimate goal is to become the eye of the god, the perfect union, the mortal and the immortal together as one.
So this makes me really wonder about all these hosts and whatnot, because like, how much agency do you get to retain as a human being if you're just chilling out being a god at his birthday party? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's the ultimate goal, but I feel like maybe in the age of the gods, they were probably just the gods taking over people's bodies. That's just my assumption, at least.
I don't know.
Is that it was
I don't...
full-on possession.
It's an interesting question.
They haven't told us, so...
Yeah.
And yeah, so Egypt fell to the Romans, and then Iskander was like, we don't really have the power to, contact or master the gods' power like we used to, because there just weren't as many magicians. Like, so many spells were lost, so much of their power was lost.
And people were burning out from trying to do this. They were dying, and that seems to be a large part of why they banned the practice of like performing magic in this fashion at all.
I mean, honestly, from that perspective, it does make sense why he did what he did.
Mm-hmm.
But certain people apparently could channel them, is what he starts to say, and then he trails off.
And Sadie immediately says, "It's the blood of the pharaohs, isn't it?"
And he's like, "I'm not telling you either way, but I'll give you a look."
He doesn't. He does not confirm or disconfirm. He says, "You are remarkable for figuring that out. We know.
You remind me of your mother."
Yeah.
Oh, you have your mother's eyes.
God.
Once again, we're talking about Sadie's mom and that she was a brilliant scientist.
Mom has got it going.
Listen, we've already confirmed that she was hot, have we not? I feel like all of the adults so far in the series, excluding old man who we want to be our grandfather, are probably hot. Yeah. Oh, and she was a diviner. She was gifted at divination,
which apparently is very rare, first in centuries.
Very cool. So this man just keeps going back and forth into like memory land and like talking to her, and he's just like, your brother's gonna need you in the future. So
interesting way to say that.
Yeah.
What's so important about Carter? Why isn't Sadie the most important character in the book? Come on, guys.
Don't you love
feminism?
How we switch perspectives, it's like, why are you giving so much attention to my sibling? Huh? Why do you, like, each of them keeps having this issue.
They do.
And that's such a sibling thing. What if I need guidance? He's like, go to Zia, because, she's she's the coolest. She's my prize pupil. Wonderful. And then he makes her go to sleep. Bye. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Our time together was so brief. Bye.
Super ominous coughing old man.
No, not whatsoever ominous. Holy shit, our next chapter is long.
Oh boy. All right.
Rude.
I have a media plug.
You have a media? Oh my goodness. Tell me about your media. How is your media?
Since we were talking about goons, it reminded me of this fucking guy on TikTok who makes TikToks about stuff in Gotham, Batman stuff, and so sometimes he'll be making TikToks about like working as a henchman in Gotham. I believe he's the one who coined the term goonion, the union for the goons. Anyway, I didn't say the guy's name. It's the Panda Red. I think that's, no spaces. The Panda Red with 2 Ds at the end. He makes incredibly funny TikToks. I don't normally go on TikTok. I see his stuff reposted on Tumblr, but that's a guy who exists. Okay, your turn, Charles.
Okay, I've looked up what goon means. No, I can still say goon. It's when I use it as a verb.
Yes,
that
yes.
it's the slang. So
no,
I'll keep that.
No
I'll keep that
gooning
in mind.
anymore.
No, we're not gooning around.
God.
Okay. Recently, Abby has been showing me a show, and hey, maybe this will like spark something for you. She's been showing me Outer Banks on Netflix. Hey, remember we went there?
Yeah, we did. We
We
did.
went there. Have I told you the other funny story? Is that Abby was there about the same time that we were?
What?
Like literally, like at least the same week that we were.
That's deeply, deeply funny.
Like maybe a couple miles away. Very weird.
Wow.
Very strange. So yeah, but the show on Netflix is, yes, it takes place in the Outer Banks area, and it's just. I feel like watching the show has made me understand my girlfriend even more and the type of media that she enjoys. Because the type of media that she enjoys are things that have lots of messy fucking drama in them.
Nice.
And also treasure hunting. And this show is both of those things.
Great.
It's a bunch of teenagers from the Outer Banks trying to find a buried treasure. But also, they're having, like, their little, like, oh, will they, won't they, relationship type of stuff, and messy things, because, they're teenagers. Also, like, apparently the lead guy is, like, actually played by a 30-something-year-old.
Oh,
and
of course.
You know what? I'm okay when it's 20-year-olds, because, like, you're filming characters who are supposed to be children in sexual situations, and I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
20-year-olds, why are you 30? You're playing like a 16, 17-year-old, and you're 32 years old, sir?
It's like, on the one hand, I don't want to expose children to the acting industry. On the other hand, I feel like we've legitimately harmed our society by making people think that's what teenagers look like.
Because I literally forget how small children look like.
For real, they're babies.
They are such babies. Yeah. And this is literally why I'm so age blind, is because of the fucking media that I consume. But yeah, no, it's very cool. And also it's very much about this class struggle that's going on over there.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Like, because the teenagers are majority made up of, like, the lower class kids in the area.
Mm.
And then the main character has, like, a love interest who is one of the upper class girls. And also one of the people who hangs out with them is a girl who's technically an upper class citizen, but, like, slums it with these, like, teenage boys, because they're her friends, and she's a rebel and what have you.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I don't know, it's a lot of, like, that. Like, they're like, we want to get this treasure because, like, we have pure intentions. Also, like, our lives suck, and we want to stick it to, like, the rich people on the island. And the rich people are just like, we made really bad decisions, and now our big industries are going under, and we're gonna be in debt. And it's like, you guys are fucking rich. You probably deserve this. So,
Wow, it sounds like there's a lot going on here.
Also, you people committed murders and are trying to hide it. Yeah, there's also a lot of murder and violence, as well as teen sexual content. There's so much going on. Like I said, messy relationships and treasure hunting, all taking place in the Outer Banks.
Very cool.
Yeah, we've watched 2 seasons of it so far, And I'm enjoying it, but I'm also just like constantly like, God, these people annoy the shit out of me. Can they make one good decision?
Yeah.
Every so often I'm like, why are you being so stupid? You guys, you got the thing. Now what you do is you collect the reward money. You don't try to pawn this thing off somewhere.
Oh no.
When you get the gold, why are you trying to melt it down yourself and sell it at a pawn shop? It just pissed me off so much because I'm like, I've watched National Treasure. You go to the proper whoever and are like, hey, finder's fee? I found this thing.
Mm.
Can I donate it to museum? Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Okay, alright. Well, will you release us from this mortal coil then?
Oh god, I sure will. Get the fuck out of my house of life. Because, like, bro, you've been, like, sneaking out in the middle of the night, and, like, you almost got killed. Like, I had to pull you out of the wall, I think? You were melting. Like, your soul was melting in the wall. You need to get the fuck out of here.
You coughed right before you said get out of my house, and I was thinking, like, get the fuck out of my house. I have coughing disease. I'm dying now. You have to leave.
Yes, I'm also I'm dying now, and you almost died in the wall. So,
yeah.
You're Sadie, I'm Iskandar.
Okay, good. Okay, well, then I'm going to take a nappy now. Bye.
Bye. Of the Eldest Gods would like to thank its $10 and up patrons. This means you're either in the Savior of Olympus tier or the God Complex tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. Thank you all so much for your support, especially Matt, our God Complex patron.
You can follow this podcast socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send us a message through the duat to oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about the Riordanverse or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology, no promises. You can check out our merch store on Redbubble to find custom designs made by Charlie. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. If you want to hear more from me, Ray, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe. That podcast Twitter is at Barbie Slaps.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws. You can also hear my voice on 2 other podcasts. I co-host another podcast on the network with the meme maker Robert called The Bits, where we talk about the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. I also co-host a non-network podcast with my buddy Ethan called Mysteries in the Machine, where we talk about all things Scooby-Doo. Our music was created and produced by Isabel Strauss-Riggs. You can find Isabel at Kane I, that's I is in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing The Kane Chronicles. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
Do you love to be super scared? Do you enjoy listening to hilarious hot takes on timeless classics? Well, fear not, listeners. I'm here. Welcome to the Super Scary Podcast, where we cover everything from the supernatural to the superpowered. I'm your host, Josh, a scaredy cat nerd who enjoys superhero, sci-fi, and horror movies way too much. Whether I'm processing my trauma from Texas Chainsaw Massacre or reminiscing on the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus, my guests and I have a hilarious time going through our favorite and sometimes not so favorite moments. I'm your friend till the end, listeners, because everyone's entitled to one super scary podcast. We post weekly episodes on Mondays, and you can find us at Super Scary Podcast on all the socials. See you in the afterlife, listeners.
Let me die first. Okay. It's totally not a portent of things to come. So.
Don't say that!
I tempt to fate every day, okay?
Dave X Media.